closer to you so you're speaking directly. Okay. What's happening? Welcome back. You're still getting real with the realest man on radio. Always good to be with you. Anything Goes Friday. There's a young brother doing a remarkable work in mentoring. Okay, I get these calls every week. Every week, I get calls from parents who are trying to do all they can do to make sure their child has a good start. Every week we get these calls. Every week I do all I can do to make sure I'm available. Sometimes we bring the young person to the studio, have them shadow me. Sometimes exposure is a great impact, has a great impact on a young person's mindset. But there's a brother who does this all the time. He's an attorney, Mohammed S. Luwemba.
That's right.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Founder of the Don't Go to Prison Initiative, and the purpose is to deter black youth from going to prison.
Correct.
Good stuff, man. You know, you and I had a conversation.
Yes.
I'm a formerly incarcerated individual.
Right.
Right? And I did not run into a guy like you before I did what I did.
Right.
That's why you're so important. So talk to us about who you are, and then we'll get into the program.
Right. So basically, I'm a criminal defense attorney, white collar crime, and juvenile lawyer. I started practicing law in December 30th of 2016 was when I got sworn in, and I immediately started working for myself, first taking juvenile conflict cases, because when juveniles are co-defendants and they can't afford a lawyer, one will go to the public defender in the juvenile office, and then the other one will get conflicted out because it's a conflict for the public defender office to defend co-defendants.
Wow.
So I would get contracted and take those juvenile clients that had, armed robbery cases and any kind of crime you can think of.
Right. And sometimes they were connected to other people, and sometimes those people were adults.
Right, yeah. Sometimes they were connected to other people, and sometimes those people were adults. Then I transitioned into doing more adult, serious criminal stuff and taking less juvenile things to take my juvenile efforts more towards prevention as opposed to focusing on when the kids already got in trouble. So my background prior to practicing criminal defense and white collar crime, I worked in juvenile facilities for 10 years from Detroit to Atlanta as a counselor, as a mentor, running programs in different juvenile facilities from Detroit to Atlanta to try to get these young men before they got caught up in the adult system. The problem with that was because I was so good at it, they would give me SB 440 kids. SB 440s are juveniles that have committed one of the 7 deadly sins, so they're charged as adults. So on their 17th birthday, either they go to adult jail, or if they've already been convicted as juveniles, they give them what they call their birthday present. 17th birthday, 12 a.m., straight to prison.
Straight to prison.
In Georgia, yeah, straight to prison.
I remember when I was charged at 17, and it was when Georgia changed the law. Okay, so we were right at that time when Georgia changed the law. The law was so new, I didn't know that at 17 I would go to adult jail.
Right.
And I remember being in the back of that police cruiser, telling the DeKalb County officer he's going in the wrong direction because Panthersville is over there. I knew how to walk to Panthersville.
Right.
I've been there so many times. He said, he looked in the back at a traffic light, looked in the back seat and said, boy, if you're going to break the law, you better learn it. You're an adult now in the state of Georgia. And I remember that sunken feeling, right? I felt like things were over for me.
Right.
And I was facing 22 years in prison. That's what I was facing. Didn't have a guy like you. Didn't have an attorney like you. But now these young people, they got somebody like you.
Correct.
What made you become an attorney?
You know what, man? My older sister is an attorney. Her husband is an attorney. I got a couple cousins that are lawyers. And growing up in our household, my father used to always make me read and make me memorize vocabulary words under threat of punishment if I didn't have them memorized. So, and he used to always make me watch the news and say, talk how reporters talk, because my father's from Uganda and he hated our Southern accents.
Wow.
So he would always say, watch the news and talk how reporters talk, because you really can't tell how a reporter is from, where a reporter is from, and enunciate all the words and everything, all the syllables. So I grew up being a good speaker. And once I got involved in the juvenile justice system, I noticed that a lot of my friends that were going to jail, going to prison, going to juvenile were a lot smarter than me, except they didn't have what I had. I had a great father and I had a great mother at home. And a lot of kids whether you come from a good home or a bad home, will veer off and start getting into a little bit of trouble. Most will grow out of it if they have that support system at home.
They got a safety net.
They got a safety net. But so many of our youth don't have that safety net. They aren't able to grow out of it. They grow more into it. So when I started working at the juvenile facilities, I said, you know what? A lot of these kids are getting jammed up just because they don't have a good lawyer. So I became an attorney and I just started beating cases for these kids, beating cases left and right. And then I started transitioning because finances call to adult work,
right,
and started making the real money doing, defending adult criminals. But I still do work with juveniles, and I'll get in there every once in a while. If I see a kid getting jammed up, listen, call me, I'll do it for free. Let me go represent your child and whatnot. But that's what made me become an attorney.
Man, I'm so thankful that we have brothers like you. I really am, because you are purposeful. And you came to me about doing the show.
Right.
I didn't have to track you down. You tracked me down.
Right.
And you introduced me to another big homie. Block from the toe.
Right.
What Block doing? What Block isn't with you today, man? What's going on with Block?
Block just did the kickball game yesterday with Greg Street. Block is always in the community. And I really want to shout out Block and shout out you too, because a lot of people in Atlanta that's on you guys' level, this quote unquote Black Hollywood, when you come to them and say you got something like don't go to prison, it's like, hell yeah, that sounds good. But very few people give you that platform. When I told Block, he literally walked me up in here and started introducing me to people. When I spoke to you, it wasn't call my agent, it's here's my cell phone number.
That's right.
Come on the show. And so I appreciate that, because everybody says they want to help the kids, and it's cool to say criminal justice reform, but not a lot of people want to get in there and actually give someone a platform to really get out there, because everybody might not have the time to represent youth in court, or they might not be lawyers or mentor kids. But for those of us who do, we might just need a platform just to get out there and get our voices heard to as many people as possible. So I appreciate that.
Brother, I recognize you as a necessary piece of the puzzle. I recognize that. Right. And the fact that you're walking into this with tremendous credentials already, and you still have this tremendous heart, it's a no-brainer for me to highlight you and partner with you in any way we can.
I appreciate it, yeah.
People who are listening right now, I got a lot of parents listening right now. They may want to either partner with you, support you, or they have a child that needs your help.
Right.
How can they connect?
They can go to don'tgotoprison.com. The 2 is the number 2, and just go to the contact page. Type in the message, type in the subject. It will come directly to my email. Also, I'm trying to get the word out to as many people as I can. So if you're a teacher, a principal, a pastor, or imam that wants me to come speak at your school, I don't charge to come speak to these kids. Hit me up at don'tgotoprison.com or at don'tgotoprison on my Instagram.
Do that now. I'm telling people who are listening, do that right now, okay? Book him now, because it will be difficult to get him later. He's going to be booked,
right?
Okay? Go ahead, go to the website, go to the contact page. His emails go directly to him, and he will see them first.
Right.
Okay, what's the website again?
Don'tgotoprison.com, number 2.
Don'tgotoprison.com. And that's the number 2. Don'tgotoprison.com. Find the contact page, send the information. He'll reach back out to you.
Yes, sir.
My brother, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. News and Talk 1380 WAOK.